what does Brexit do for properties? Is a $1 million question, of which no one knows the answer. I think at the moment you've kind of got a combination of factors. So we've just gone through the stamp duty period where that kind of concentrated a lot of activity around the end of March, and I think that probably took out a bit of energy from the market anyway. And I think we're now running that kind of lack of energy into kind of some nervousness around what Brexit might mean. So I guess if I was a landlord, I'd probably be thinking, hang on, I've just got to adjust to a higher stamp duty, and I've also got Brexit 5 weeks away as a vote. So I'll probably just wait and see. So I think we're seeing that a little bit now in the market, and that sort of will feed through, I think, to a dampening of prices and a dampening of activity. I think you could see a case where if we do vote to leave, you could certainly see money and capital sort of leave the UK. You could see sterling come under pressure as a consequence, which would, in any event, probably lead to a rise in interest rates much sooner than otherwise would happen, possibly to defend against those kind of currency fluctuations. So I think you definitely see a nervousness and a loss of confidence in the short term as there's uncertainty. Markets don't like uncertainty, and I think that feeds some negative sentiment, which again I think would mean people would be less willing to commit to transactions and probably just want to again sit on their hands and wait and see for a little bit longer. So I think all of that would translate into some downward pressure on prices. I think that's a pretty certain outcome if we do leave. And I think there are other pockets of property market, certainly prime central London, which would suffer as well, because I just think there'd be a negative message. It's a global area, there's a lot of global capital attracted to prime central London. I think in an event of us leaving Europe, I think that would reverse somewhat, and so I think you'd see downward pressure definitely on prime central London. And then actually, as history teaches us, we tend to see a bit of a ripple, and so that ripple will then work out over time. So by and large, it's hard to see an environment where prices would not come under some significant downward pressure in the event of a Brexit. I think on the reverse, if we decide to stay, I think that will kind of re-energise people a little bit, and I think you'll probably then see a sort of pick up in activity. And it wasn't too dissimilar to what we saw with the independence vote with Scotland. Again, people just started to sort of were inactive as it was all bubbling away, and I think human nature's a bit like that. So I think that's what we're seeing in this period. And if we leave, as I said, I can see a sort of scenario where we get downward pressure on prices. If we stay, I think you'll see a pick up in confidence.